Hey, so sorry about last week if you noticed there was no episode. On that Tuesday, we recorded an episode about Transformers Darker the Moon. And on that Friday, reports came out that someone's a giant shithead. So we decided to postpone the episode. If it comes out, we're thinking same week of the next Transformer episode. And apologies for that. Here's something that I hope will lighten the mood and help you get through whatever you're getting through. Oh no, it's ripping. I think I ripped it. Shit. I broke the.
Are you gonna be in that?
Oh, man.
Oh, hey, look, it's Saint Christmas.
Hello there. Welcome to the $1 Billion Movie Club. Oh.
Did you bring any goodies for the good listeners, Saint Christmas?
Well, I brought a discussion on the film Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I got him. I'm done. Ah. Hello, I'm Pawan. I'm Christian Masinsis.
I'm Pawan Mehta.
Welcome to the $1 Billion Movie Club, where each week we discuss a film that's made a lot of money and question why.
Wait, did you say your name is Christian? I thought your name was Christmas today because this is a Christmas
It is a
episode.
Christmas themed episode because this week, the time of, I was going to say time of giving, that's Thanksgiving, is it not?
I mean, the time of giving gifts.
I see. That's not, anyways,
It's not the point, but yeah.
we decided, so it's tiring watching all these action movies back to back.
Especially after watching a huge one that had an hour-long final fight that we're going to air at a later date. But yeah,
4 Transformers, 2 Batmen, 3 Lord of the Rings, 8 Harry Potters, and worst of all, an Alice in Wonderland. It weighs on you. And so we thought a fun diversion would be in the Christmas spirit to talk about a popular film that none of us have too much knowledge of, other outside of memes, the memes,
Mamoose.
the mamas, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Starring Jim Carrey, just to be clear.
Juan, what is your history with this film? And the Dr. Seuss-ness in general.
I grew up with the books, like many children's. My family bought the little versions of the book so that we could like take it on the go and stuff like that. You know how there's like the big versions and like the little pocketbook version? Yeah, we had a bunch of the pocketbook ones.
It's normal.
And this movie, I remember the TV special more than this movie itself.
Interesting.
I watched the TV special a couple times when it aired on TV, of course. But yeah, I've seen clips of this movie here and there. I don't recall ever seeing it in full before today.
Interesting.
But
I think
yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you. Lots of Dr. Seuss book reading as a youth. I also think I have more experience with the original animated version rather than this movie. There are moments in this movie when like, wait, I know exactly what's gonna happen. So I feel like I must have seen it in full, or maybe I just saw like
right.
bits on ABC Family or whatever. Yeah, the live action Dr. Seuss movie I watched a lot was Cat in the Hat, which you can see the connections when you watch this movie. But yeah,
I remember that one too.
didn't know too much.
That was a movie. One other thing I will note about my history with the Dr. Seuss books. There was one point in like 7th or 8th grade where like there was like a program where like the older students would go into like the 3rd grade class and like read Dr. Seuss to them.
Okay.
And like I remember I was in the middle of this book and I was like, God damn, this is a lot longer than I thought it was.
There's so many pages. They're like 60 pages each and like
Yeah.
3 words, which is a waste of paper, really, if you think about it.
I mean, image. A
But
picture is worth 1,000 words, Ma Simpson.
but from the dude who wrote the Lorax, you'd think he'd care more about paper.
That's why it's worth so much money.
It is worth a lot of money.
Those books are expensive.
I thought you meant the film because the film made a lot of money because the film
Whoa!
was released on November 17th, 2000, had a budget of $123 million. It opened with $55 million. At the time, the highest opening for a Christmas movie, a record it held up until 2018's The Grinch. Interesting fact, its second weekend total of 52.1 million at the time was the highest grossing second weekend for any film. Back in the year 2000. Now it's like the 129th. It's crazy how these numbers work. It would be number one for 4 weeks straight until it was unseated by the Mel Gibson vehicle What Women Want. The film went on to gross 260 million domestically and 345 million worldwide. At the time, in the year of 2000, it was the 6th highest grossing film of the year.
2 decades ago.
Yes, 2 decades. And was the 14th highest grossing film domestically at the time. Currently, it sits at 118. 100 films. Juan, I'd like to play a quick game.
Okay.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas was the 6th highest grossing film of the year 2000. Would you like to guess what outgrossed
was above it?
Yes.
In 2000.
Yes. Do you want hints or do you just...
I don't even know which movies came out in 2000.
All right. My hints are a Disney movie, a Mel Gibson vehicle,
Gee, I wonder which.
the sport of volleyball, one of the stars of The Nice Guys, and Scientology.
Oh, so Gladiator?
Yes, at number 2, Gladiator.
I'm gonna guess the Mel Gibson vehicle. That's gonna be a tough one. I'm gonna go with what women want or something like that.
Number 4, What Women Want.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Volleyball. I'm completely lost on that one. So I'll come back to that. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. What were the other hints?
A Disney film.
Disney.
And
Oh,
Scientology.
Fantasia?
Oh, how optimistic of you.
Damn.
Would you like to take a crack at Scientology and volleyball or no?
So Scientology, I'm assuming Tom Cruise. Was it Mission Impossible 2?
Yep. Number 1 was Mission Impossible 2.
That was a great film. Okay, so what am I missing?
At number 3, Castaway.
Oh, I was thinking more the sport.
I did say the sport of volleyball, but I thought that would, Wilson the volleyball, part of the sport of volleyball. Anyways, and number 5.
I haven't seen Castaway.
Number 5, Dinosaur.
That was the Disney movie?
It was Disney.
Wow.
And yet we're not talking about any of those 5 films. We're talking about How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It occurs to me I switch up the order of our first 2 segments right now, but that's fine. Let's talk about this movie.
Wait, what do you mean
This is when I usually ask about our history with the movie.
Oh well. Let's talk about this movie. So let's start with the fundamental question that the title asks. How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
It's not.
Does this film explain?
Not a question. There's no. Do you see a question mark on that title screen?
Well, it alludes to the fact that it will answer the question that you have when seeing that. It's like,
yes,
how the Grinch stole Christmas. So how did he do it? Do you think it answers it?
Yes. It's not like it's a how. It's like how to. It's like when you look up a video.
Oh, so like if you're the Grinch too, this is how to do it.
Yes.
I see. But there's more movie after that.
Well, there's repercussions, If I told the story of how I what's the subtitle of Doctor Strangelove?
How I learned to stop worrying and love the bomb.
Yeah, it's like a 90-minute movie. I gotta have the repercussions of how I stopped learning to work. I never seen the film. I don't. I tried watching the film once. I was like, I'm too tired for this. I can't watch it today. And then Filmstruck closed, and I was like, I guess I'm
Ooh.
never watching this movie. Upon initial thoughts on this movie.
Watching the clips initially when I was younger,
Hmm.
it felt so jarring in relation to all the movies that came around it that I was just like, this is, it doesn't look nice. It's
What
weird.
What do you mean by jarring?
Just how all the characters are so cartoony and like, but it's live action. So there's like that bit of, uh, it's initially jarring, but once you actually sit down to watch the movie, um, yeah, once you sit down to actually watch the movie, it makes perfect sense. Like if you could get in that headspace, and yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
It's so much fun. This movie.
It is.
I'll be honest. When stuff is memeified like this, I expect to hate it. But gosh darn it, is this movie fun?
I mean, when things become memes, it's like two ends. It could either be really good and really fun, or just really terrible, and that's why it's so funny to make fun of it.
Mm-hmm. And it's the first, as it
Yeah,
turns out. I'd like to point out some fun stuff. Jim Carrey was nominated for a Golden Globe for this film. His
I
first,
assume musical or comedy.
yes, yes, motion picture, musical, or comedy. Jim Carrey. No, he was nominated for actor, musical comedy, and if I'm correct, his third consecutive nomination after 2 consecutive wins.
What were the previous two?
Truman Show, he won in drama, and then he
And
won
then
in
Man on the
musical
Moon.
comedy for Man on the Moon. Yeah,
Hmm.
and then this film was nominated for 3 Oscars, nominated for art direction and costume design. It won Best Makeup. Uh, the makeup team would be the team of Gail Rowell Ryan and Rick Baker. Rick Baker won the very first Academy Award for Best Makeup. Would go on to win 7 times. So you got some talented people working on this movie.
Yeah, honestly, the makeup was so on point.
Yeah.
Like it was beautiful.
It's such a vibrant world.
Yeah.
And right from the beginning, you can tell it. All the colors pop really well. I found that there was a graininess to it. I don't know if it's just because it's an older film or whatnot,
Maybe.
but it adds to the warmth to it. I think
It makes it feel more
tangible.
natural, I guess. Tangible, yeah.
And I do really enjoy now that we're on this how the first like 90% of that movie is dark and cold and dark and at nighttime,
Of
and
this
then
movie.
yeah, and then it moves on to when he grows the heart, the skies part and the sun comes in, and then
And
he has the
his
warmth.
heart grows 4 sizes or something like that.
See, they say it. However, there was no magnifying glass to come and show that it got bigger. So I feel like Ron Howard's hiding something from us.
I mean, it was there initially to show the initial size. There was the before, but there's no after. That's
Yes.
the thing.
And I'm very confused now that there's no after. Not even a during.
So what are we going to talk about with this movie?
It's really weird that they made a Dr. Seuss movie into a feature-length film.
Yeah, initially thinking about it, you're thinking like, how do you make this short children's book that again has like probably a sentence or two that's like 7 words each per page into an hour and 40-minute film?
Mhm.
But I think they did a great job of that with this in terms of like just taking individual ideas and like making them their own sequences.
Yeah.
and just like fleshing that out. And it doesn't necessarily need to advance the story, but if it's a fun sequence in and of itself, that's enough.
And I will say, comparing it to the Cat in the Hat, which comes like 3 years later, the stuff they added was character based for the Grinch.
Yes.
Like the Cat in the Hat isn't a character in the Cat in the Hat. He's just there to say and do goofy stuff. And
Right.
although the Grinch does silly classic '90s Jim Carrey era uh, bits, he has a heart, and you see how it broke, and all the flashbacks. It takes an hour to get to what we all are waiting for. Him getting
Wait,
ready to
what?
him getting ready to steal Christmas.
Ah,
And yet it's all these nice backstory stuff. I didn't know I needed a Grinch origin story, but it was very nice. I
honestly, I was surprised at how short the actual stealing of Christmas was.
Yes, but if you think about it, like what else could they do?
He,
Do
I,
like
I don't know. Actually, we could get into that later.
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I loved Cindy Lou Who by
That was the little one.
yes, played by Taylor Momsen, I believe. You usually have this stuff pulled up. She was adorable. Um, there's a second because we watched War of the Worlds for the episode 0 of this podcast, which maybe we'll put up one day. Part of me was like, why wasn't Dakota Fanning in this role? It's because it felt like something she'd do, but no, she's a delight in this movie. Um, it's a great supporting cast of Molly Shannon, Christine Baranski, uh, Jeffrey Tambor. We'll just move on, and Bill Irwin, all doing really fun, silly stuff.
What's great is that they know what type of movie they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one's trying to like give in a great dramatic performance or like trying to ground their performance in any form of quote unquote reality.
I'd argue they're grounded into that reality.
Yes,
They're not grounded into Earth.
Earth.
Earth. They're putting it in this weird Dr. Seuss world, which nothing makes sense.
That's on a snowflake.
Yeah. Which was that? Does the movie start like that?
Yes.
Okay,
It's bookended by the snowflake.
because they do it at the end. I'm like, wait, did it start like this?
Honestly, there were so many like character beats or like moments in the film that reminded me of other films.
Such as
So like that final sequence reminded me of Men in Black.
never seen it, but go on.
Um the sequence where he's nominated for like the holiday festivious dude.
Mm.
It kind of reminded me of Hereditary.
The ending of Hereditary.
Yeah.
Well, I remember. I thought of Hereditary when he was hiding
Wait,
from
no,
her in the
not
corner
not
of the wall.
Hereditary. No, I wrong movie. Midsummer.
I haven't seen Midsummer. See, but
So
I also
at the end
thought
of that movie, there's like a dance thing, and like she wins the dance thing. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay,
It means
okay.
nothing without more context.
Okay.
So it's like in reverse of that.
I also thought of Ari Aster when he's hiding from her when she first meets him, and he's up in the corner of the room. It's like, oh, Tony Collette.
Wait, what sequence did that remind
Tony
you of?
Collette. Tony Collette. In the dark.
Now I'm confused.
Okay.
I don't remember
We
that.
can discuss this later.
Yeah. There was one other movie. Jaws. Jaws.
Where did you
The
get Jaws vibes from?
The beginning where the mayor is like, we don't talk about the Grinch. It's like, you're gonna ruin my festivities by bringing up.
Yep. Okay. That. No, you're right. That's.
So those were the three movies that I was reminded of.
When that scene happened with the mayor, I'm like, I know I watched something that did something similar to this recently. But I don't. And you nailed it right on the head. It was Jaws. This film
Mm-hmm.
feels so influential with the modern day humor of our generation.
I don't know if it necessarily is influential in terms of movie making.
I'd argue it's hard to say influential because this the studio's the studio's first release is the next year, but it feels like a stepping stone for DreamWorks.
I can kind of see that.
A lot of this thing's gross. It's funny. A lot of I'm mean and self-loathing, and then a lot of like jokes that felt like they were rooted in the real world references.
The thing that got me, honestly, was the amount of self-loathing
Yes.
because like it was about to tip over into like a lot darker and worse. It could have happened so easily.
Okay.
Listen, I was getting Suicide Watch vibes from the Grinch multiple
Oh
times.
no.
But like the movie never actually went there.
It's a good time for us to talk about Jim Carrey now.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, so much fun in this movie.
Yeah.
Um, it's weird that this movie is 20 years old and we're in our early 20s, because that makeup just is normal.
What do you
Like,
mean by normal?
I don't know. I feel like whenever I see like a lot of makeup in a movie, it's like that's a lot of makeup. But this feels like it's just normal,
Oh yeah,
normalized for me.
it's
Like,
it is mostly just like the costume and just making him green.
yeah. But like young me didn't know who Jim Carrey was. And so I'm watching this, I'm like, that doesn't even look like Jim Carrey. That's just the Grinch.
Well, he that means he disappeared into the role.
I'd argue he's just doing the same thing throughout the 90s, which isn't a bad thing.
What? You're telling me he was like this in the Truman Show?
If you rewatch Truman's breakdown in the Truman Show, yes. That's why I love the Truman Show. It's put Jim Carrey to do his Jim Carrey thing in the real world.
Well, real world.
Grounded in the reality of the real world.
Yeah, but
Compared
like
to the
spoilers for
far-fetched
Truman Show
nature.
or potential spoilers.
Spoilers for the Truman Show. Do you know the premise? Spoilers, the premise of the movie. Spoilers for this movie, The Grinch Steals Christmas.
What? Damn.
But
How
yeah,
you gonna say that?
I think my favorite bit that he does in this movie is when he's yelling in the cave at himself.
Yeah, and it's just like you're stupid.
Because like Jim Carrey in the 90s and early 2000s, there was like no one else on his level.
Yo, he's his own scene partner.
Yeah. Like the only other person I can think of who could do that is Nick Cage. He did that. Like he just goes all out and so cartoony and over the top.
And very much like full body performance.
Yes. It's incredible watching how he just modulates the movement of his arm and just isolates like either the, the hand, the wrist, the whatever, and it's quite a feat.
And I feel like the cinematography in this movie really like captured it so well by like also being slightly off kilter.
Mhm. Am I crazy, or was so much of this film shot at an angle, like
At a Dutch angle. Yeah.
which I think fits with the Dr. Seuss aesthetic.
Going back to like when I was younger and seeing clips of this, I used to just hate the idea of Dutch angles, period. Like just like why would you do that when you could just make it straight?
It's called art, Pawan.
But then as I grew up, as I matured,
Matured?
matured.
Matured. You matured.
I matured. I learned that everything has its place, and if you do it well, and like you use it on with a point, then it's good. And this movie is good.
On that note, shout out to Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Who this is such an odd film in his filmography.
I think his filmography in general is pretty odd.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have like a specific aesthetic he goes for.
Have you seen many of his other movies?
I saw Rush. I liked Rush.
Oh, I've been meaning to watch because I realized the only movie of his I've seen is Solo.
Let me see
But
his
like, this was
filmography.
the last film he did before he won his Oscar. After this, he did A Beautiful Mind.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too.
This is so odd in his.
Let's see what else I've
The
seen.
movie before this was Ed TV, which I think is kind of Truman Showy esque, if I remember correctly. But yeah,
Yep, it's just those two that I remember seeing.
I found that he didn't do anything too flashy, and it allowed for the world to really stand out on its own.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you think a director does.
Sure.
Because I think this movie is made mostly through the sets and makeup and costuming and all that.
So I apologize. Nothing too flashy with the camera work. Does that make a little more sense? Except for like quick cuts, which I is that not more editing than well, I guess it's both. Film's a
He
collaborative.
helmed the project rather well.
Rather well. Um, okay, can we go back to Jim Carrey? Because I
Yes,
love
sure.
how he talks from the side of his mouth the entire time.
Yes.
Yes. And
It's
he
almost like Sean Connery almost.
Sean Connery. He also like bites it. I thought of Alan Rickman in Harry Potter. And he just goes for it all the way. And it's really fun, and he'll switch sides in the middle of
See,
sentences.
that's how he has a conversation with himself. He's talking from this side and then he's going from this side. And like both sides are having a conversation.
For the listeners not watching on YouTube, we're switching the side of the mouth we're speaking out of while we're talking.
Does this do anything for you?
Oh my god, that hurt my neck. Oh, I haven't touched my neck in a while.
But that also goes back to the idea of him fully embodying the role and making some really, really out there choices.
Which is what you get from Jim Carrey back then. Which makes me
Well,
so.
I don't know. I feel like his Robotnik was, it wasn't the same level as this, but it was like, it was kind of.
But also the first time he did something like that in a decade or so. Right? Well, he also hasn't done too many big movies since then, recently. But I think that's why most people loved his Robotnik, because it was so much like OG Jim Carrey. I
Right,
didn't love
right.
it just because that doesn't make sense for Dr. Robotnik.
I mean, it's not the video game.
No.
I mean, it's set in like the real world, so you know it's not the video game. But back to this film. One thing that I noted was I was not a fan of the foul language that showed up out of nowhere.
I don't even know what foul language you're talking about.
So when they were on the sled ride,
Sure. At
and
the end, right?
yes, when our boy the Grinchy, Jim Carrey, Grinchy, when he was doing his little thing saying like, "Oh, we're doing this," he said the bitchin' snow.
He said that.
He said the bitchin' snow or the bitchin' powder, something like that.
What? Sorry, I just that Grinch bitch line.
Bitchin'.
Let's see. Let's see. What other foul language?
That's the only time it showed up, which is why it's just like, wow, okay.
Are you?
Listen. I was watching this movie with subtitles. Even the subtitle said "bitchin',"
Wow. Huh.
and this is in the Netflix kids section.
It wasn't.
We let our children read the word "bitchin" every time they see this movie.
Kids don't read. You're funny, Pawan. Let me just look up who wrote this movie. Jeffrey Price and Peter S. Seaman. They also worked on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Last Holiday, Shrek the Third, and Wild Wild West.
You know, my mom had something to say the other day when we were in the car ride about Wild Wild West. She was like, "Listen, I know people think it's a shit movie, but you know what? Their hearing aids, that was time period accurate."
Wow. Yeah, well, I don't even know who directed it. I'll say Kenneth Branagh, because he's in that movie, and he's also a director.
We had that one on VHS, so we used to watch that all the time.
I was a big fan in this movie of the sound effects.
Hmm.
The sound effects were straight out of a Looney Tune movie or a cartoon and added to the wacky, over the topness of the film.
Hijinks.
The hijinks. It heightened the hijinks.
Mm-hmm.
The hijinks were so high, they were high hijinks.
Like the sound effects of like going up and down the chimney.
Up and down
That
the
was
chimney.
nice. Yeah.
Um, I wrote down the sound effects: hand sliding down door glass. There's like a.
Oh, like with the car when he scratched it.
Oh, that as well. That as well. That as well. I think what else I can talk about. It's just a very fun film. I
Honestly, I really enjoyed the chemistry between Cindy Lou Who and the Grinch.
Yeah,
Like
she's
that was genuinely heartwarming.
she's the right amount of precious,
Yeah.
and they were adorable together. Um, I didn't know this movie had songs.
Well, of course they have to invoke the two big ones.
Yes, but what was the song Cindy Lou Who sang?
Wait, which one?
She has like a solo song.
Oh yeah,
That
about what
night.
is Christmas. Yes.
That's not from the original, right?
No. But it fit. I was here for it.
It reminded me of the Jungle Book live action movie where,
Mm-hmm.
oh, what happened behind me? That's gonna change in 2 seconds. When it was like they took two songs from the original, put them in the movie, and they felt
Mm-hmm.
so out of place. And these fit a little bit more, especially the Who's song. It just felt
Honestly, I thought
random.
that in terms of how musicals should work, it was justified.
Okay,
Because like I feel like she would just sing that to herself.
sure, sure. It felt like it didn't commit to being a musical though, and so
That's
it
fair.
was just so random that it happened. I didn't dis. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was poorly done. It was just random.
But like that Dahu Dore song, that
That
hit me
song
in the nostalgia.
that always warms
That
my
hit me
heart.
in the nostalgia.
I didn't
Even though
like.
it makes no sense.
I didn't like in the end when he was like half singing it.
Well, he doesn't know the song. He hasn't been with them.
I guess.
It makes sense.
I thought if you're having him jump in, just have him fully like know it. Not like anything else in this world makes sense. So Santa's real?
Yeah, I love how he's just like in one shot for like 2 seconds and not like explored beyond like, oh, he lives by himself because so he could protect his taxes. It's like, oh, okay.
And he wasn't necessary to you could have cut out Santa and the movie's the same.
Then you wouldn't have that joke.
Also, obviously a
And
ritual.
also, a children's movie where you say Santa doesn't exist, that's just lying to children, all right?
Hey, every Christmas movie they say Santa doesn't exist. It just turns out in the end he
That's not
does.
true.
In the end, it turns
That's
out he
not
does.
true.
In the end, it turns out they're wrong.
Santa Claus, that's like first act stuff, all right?
That's what I'm saying. The first act they say he's not existing, and
No,
second
I mean
act they
they
find
fixed that in the first act because he kills Santa Claus and becomes Santa
Oh,
Claus
you're
as
talking
per
about
the
the
Santa
Santa
Claus.
Claus.
Yes.
I've never seen that movie either.
Tim Allen kills Santa
Oh,
Claus.
I've seen the trailer numerous times during rainy day recesses when they put on a movie, and they make you sit. For some reason, the teacher's like, "We're gonna sit through the trailers." It's like
Well, because that means less time that they have to actually teach.
during recess,
Yes.
during the allocated not teaching time,
Wait, they put on movies for you during recess?
when it was rainy day and we couldn't go outside.
Oh, for us, they just stuck us in the gym and it was just like talk amongst yourselves.
Oh no, because the gym was used for people who had gym.
Oh, because you had two different. We didn't
Different
have
what?
two. So for us, everyone had lunch at the same time for many years.
Oh no. So my original elementary school, it was each floor had lunch. Each
Oh,
floor
that's
also only
yeah,
had four
that makes
classrooms.
sense
It was
why they
very small.
wouldn't do the gym.
Yeah.
Because for us, even when they did separate times for gym, it was like first through fourth is like one period, and
Oh
then
wow.
fifth through eighth is the other period.
Were those a
So
bunch
they
of
still
kids?
stuck them in the gym. Hmm?
How many kids were there?
We had a pretty big cafeteria.
Holy crap. Okay.
Yeah,
They
but I
got
digress.
they got motherfucking Anthony Hopkins to narrate this movie.
They did.
You know, his name was the name. I was like, holy crap. You went all out for this movie. Those $123 million, you were using it correctly. And he was great. Anthony
Yeah.
Hopkins. If you don't follow Sir Anthony Hopkins on Twitter, it's the most heartwarming, wholesome content.
Mm.
And so he brought that warmth, that delight.
It definitely felt like he was reading me a Dr. Seuss book. Well, multiple Dr. Seuss books because of how Dr. Seuss works.
No, one Dr. Seuss book, because one book is 900 pages. As
No,
we
I
just,
was talking more in terms of syllables
I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
because the way Dr. Seuss works, it's books for young children so that they could learn how like words work together sort of thing and like syllables sounds. So like usually a book would specifically focus on that. So like hop on pop will focus on the up and like those sorts of sounds. Like work with words that does that.
Which sound again?
Up,
Up,
up.
up. Oh, look,
Yep.
another Ron Howard movie behind me. I didn't expect
Oh
this
no, I
movie.
deleted my notes.
How many notes did you have this time?
It's fine. It's in my recently deleted, so we're good.
Oh, you have it recently deleted? I don't think I have that on my notes.
Hmm.
That'd be very useful. I found this movie to be.
Oh yeah. One thing I want to bring up.
Okay, go.
We were talking about how Cindy Lou was adorable. You know what else was adorable? Max.
Yes. And I
That
was.
dog was so cute.
I
And
thought
I'm not usually a dog person, but that dog was cute.
I thought they were gonna overdo it, like every 2 seconds, but no, they sprinkle him in, and he's very fun, and he's adorable when he
With
has
the
a little
little
nose on the
reindeer.
reindeer head. Oh, and he pulled the rope that one time. That was fun. He's more sentient than we realize.
Yeah, he had a lot of agency for like a pet.
Mm-hmm. He was aware. He was aware, and not just a cute. He's not just a cute face. He has a brain.
A big dog brain.
Yeah, not one of those small dog chihuahua brains.
Whoa. Just throwing an entire species of dogs under the
Well,
bus.
they're the smaller dog, and so
Sure.
the
Let's just
potential
pretend.
size is smaller because there's less volume.
Yeah, let's just skirt past the idea that you think all chihuahuas are less intelligent just because of their size. Wow.
Did you see Beverly Hill Chihuahuas?
Which one?
I don't know. I've never seen any of them.
I haven't either.
I think
I
George
think
Lopez
George
may be in one.
Lopez. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was in all of them.
Probably.
So one thing I'd like to note is there was that moment where Cindy Lou is visiting Jim Carrey at his domain.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, maybe if you reunite with the Who's, it'll be better. And then he mimics her. And then while that was happening, I was like, boom, roasted. He got you good. You got nothing to come back from with that.
You're right. She did win in the end.
Yeah, I know, but like just that moment, I just felt like, yeah, he put her in her place by mimicking a 7-year-old girl. I don't know why that moment just had me so amped up.
I don't even know which moment you're talking about.
When it was literally her, yeah, and like
that was a fun sequence. That was a fun sequence.
And like there was just one moment where he literally just like was doing a mocking voice, copying what she was saying, and that just got me so hyped for like the Grinch. I was like, yeah, that's how he does it. He's nobody's friend.
I feel like this film wasted Molly Shannon, but I also think
which one was she?
We as a society waste Molly Shannon. She was the mom.
Ah, yeah.
Wonderful actress. Please watch.
Wait, I'm trying to think. What else did I see her in? Because she did look familiar.
She was on SNL for years. She's the superstar.
Yeah, but I think I've seen her in films. Maybe.
You probably have. She was just in. She's in The Other Two, that TBS show right now. I was a big fan of Other People. Very great.
Scary Movie 4. That's it.
Christine Baranski, I didn't realize was in this movie. She's very fun. She's the one he's in love with. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I know this was not intended.
Mm-hmm.
Does the Grinch not have a name?
The Grinch is his name.
So the is part of his name.
Yes.
When everyone else has who in their name. And he is a who. It's not like he's not a who.
He's the Grinch who.
It's very odd. Also, just because I'm thinking of the flashback sequence where you see history. It threw me off. And excuse me if I cross a line here. It threw me off that there was a black girl in his class because everyone else was white. And I didn't realize there were any people of color of the Who's. I didn't realize there was any Who's of color.
I'll be honest, I didn't even notice that.
I apologize.
The one thing that got me about that scene though is I forget what Martha May.
Yes.
She says, "I love Christmas colors, red and green." She really fetishizes the Grinch for being green.
Damn.
You didn't pick up on that?
No.
Like she has no other reason to like him.
You're right. She literally has no reason to like him. She just does.
She just likes that he's green.
We allow our children to watch this every year? Really? Really, society? We allow them to do this? Huh. You're right. I will say...
Okay, go ahead.
He has two mothers.
He does. He does have two mothers.
Very progressive. Also...
I mean, in a stork-based children birthing society, how does... It doesn't matter who receives.
Well, you know, sometimes you might get a baby and it looks like your wife's boss. Why was that joke in this?
We'll get back to that in the final.
I feel like someone liked that joke. Penalty. Someone liked that joke. I was like, cool. So the Cat in the Hat needs to have 10,000 more jokes like this.
What I love was just when that joke happened, I was thinking about the ramifications of that in their society, which we'll get into later.
I have so many questions about the society. So are they the only Who village?
Get into that later.
Also, like, in the beginning, the mayor is acting like the Grinch is a mythical creature. The mayor
Yeah,
went to
the Grinch is Jaws.
but the mayor went to school with the Grinch.
Again, he from the mayor's point of view, the Grinch might as well be dead. That's why. Because he's a hater. He hates that the Grinch is green and that his girlfriend likes him and fetishizes his greenness.
I wasn't expecting this film to be like anti-establishment and anti-commercialization, commercialism.
You know, I have mixed feelings about that.
Hmm.
Because, like, how much does that actually do? What does that actually do in the long run? It feels like more a form of sedation rather than actually urging to be like, you know what? Yeah, this is wrong. It's more like it fosters a complacency. It feels like more so than actively making you do something.
Oh, what are you referring to right now? I just want to make sure.
The anti-capitalist aspect of it.
I don't know, because this they weren't trying to think that hard for this movie.
I mean, yeah. Because, you know, that so as someone who's kind of an outsider, much like the Grinch himself when it comes
Oh.
to Christmas.
Are you one of S.E. Hinton's many characters?
What?
Are you Pony Boy?
I have no idea what you're referencing.
The book The Outside. Hold on, I think I have it rented from the library here. The Outsiders. You never
Listen,
read
the
that?
only YA book series I've read was The Magic Tree House. Okay.
Francis Ford Coppola directed the film adaptation, I believe.
You're just gonna brush past how I said the YA series Magic Tree.
No, because I think last time you referenced that, I confused that with Magic School Bus, so I decided to not tackle that again. Come on, Magic School Bus. What are we talking about? Oh, you as an outsider.
Right. As an outsider to Christmas,
Yes.
I feel like I keep seeing, like in these TV movies or like these Christmas movies, the message is always, I don't care about the gifts. As long as we're together, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And like the first act is always people like rushing to buy gifts and stuff like that. It's like, oh, I need to get the thing. But like what I see from the real world as an outsider always seems to fall in the act 1 category.
But you're never with a family celebrating Christmas on Christmas, where it turns to Act 2. I don't know. What do you do on Christmas? Do you spend it with people already celebrating Christmas?
No.
I
Again, I said I'm an outsider.
Okay. Yeah. I think.
Much so, in a sense, I am very similar to the Grinch in this film because all I see is the rampant consumerism and how so much is wasted. You keep buying new things and you're not using them, and you throw them my way, and it just creates this huge garbage pile.
I don't.
Yes, I live next to the
No,
dumpster.
first off, I don't think the Grinch actually believed that. I think that was just the Grinch being grumpy because no one loved him.
I mean, it could be both. ¿Por
Could
qué
be
no
both.
los dos?
3 tacos, please.
I said 2, so you're wrong.
Oh, I thought you were asking me if I wanted tacos.
I did not say taco anywhere in that statement.
Repeat the statement one more time, please.
I mean, it was a question.
Repeat the question one more time.
¿Por qué no los dos?
3 tacos, please. I don't understand what is being lost in translation.
All right. So we were talking about how the Grinch was very, very sad.
Yes.
One of the gags that I enjoyed a lot was the sedative, and it was like a mallet.
Where do you put that together till right now? Because I remember the line, and then I remember him doing the mouth. I'm like, that's a weird. No, yeah. That makes sense.
A lot of fun prop gags in this movie.
Oh, very much so. A lot of falling down and crawling up. Him like eating the random stuff.
The slide looked really fun.
Yes, the silent. I loved. She had the perfect little girl chuckle because her going down the slide laughing, and then there's at the end when she finally, the final time she goes to meet him, she like pops out of the tube and she's just like, like, oh, he's so adorable, so adorable, and you make me realize that this will have a happy ending.
One thing that I was not the biggest fan of in terms of their city planning for Whoville.
You mean the fact that they do everything the day before? And,
I was talking, sorry, not city, urban planning.
all right, go on.
Where should they drive the cars? Because the road and sidewalk are not clearly delineated.
You're
The
right.
people just walk wherever they want. There's almost no point in actually having a car in this village, which is why when the guy gifted Martha May, the mayor gifted Martha May the car, I was like, where's she going to actually drive it?
That's a great point. That's a great point. Because also, first off, I didn't know his Nocturnal Animals was on Netflix until it popped up there, and I got really excited. Second, what was with the mini who's in the mini car that pop up one time and never again?
I mean, see, I feel like that was more of an establishment for the prop that they were using.
Yeah.
But like again, that a lot of the jokes have so many connotations to this world that it adds that it's just like what there's so many more new ideas that it just creates and like does nothing with.
So would there be like a main road and then instead of a bike lane, a mini road? How would that work?
I guess maybe like they're always gambling with their lives. Because there is no delineation between the roads, Miss Simpson.
Are there no who crossing guards?
There's no intersections. There's no roads, sidewalks. It's all just pavement, and you figure it out.
Can I bring up one line that made me have another thought?
Mm-hmm.
So early on, the Grinch sneaks in and decides to like mess with people's mail, and he gives people fake letters, and he's like,
Oh yeah.
Pink slip, jury duty." They have jury duty in Whoville?
Yes. What crimes are people committing? Well, wait. That reminds me. Like, at the end, the police. He's like, "Arrest me, police officer. I did the crime." It's like, is this really a town where like an apology lets you go? So why do they need a jury?
That makes sense.
It's just like, it's such like, it feels like it's got like the like wondrous naivete of a child,
Sure.
and it's beautiful.
How long?
Because I don't see like there's no other way. Like if you were to actively try to think about it analytically, like if you tried to, cinema sins this, there'd be so many. So many. But like that's missing the entire point of this movie.
I had a question. How many years do you think the mayor's been the mayor?
So the thing for me is like it feels like that also fits into like the whole it's written by a child in the sense that like, oh, this guy is just the mayor. Like that's his thing. There's no one else who's done it since he's been an adult. It's only been him. He's the mayor. Like
it feels like he's the only mayor ever.
Yeah. It's like how it was with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Similar situation. Oh my God, you need to watch it. It's a delight. Both movies actually were really good.
Some Lord and Miller,
I saw the first one in theaters. I was initially going to see Astro Boy, but like we missed.
God, I forgot that existed.
We missed the showtime for that, so we settled on Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. It was a good thing to settle on. Let's put it that way. I still haven't seen Astro Boy.
I forgot that movie existed.
That's actually based on an anime.
Oh yeah, I know that part.
Very old anime too.
Freddie Highmore, right? Charlie from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I don't
the
remember
Good Doctor?
anything about it.
I believe it's the Good Doctor.
Psycho from Bates Motel.
See, I'm confused because you say from Bates Motel, but they never say the word psycho in the name. He only plays titular characters such as Astro Boy Charlie and the good doctor.
He is the Bates Motel.
Let's ignore the fact that I think his last name is Bates. I believe that's. I never watched the show, but I believe.
Yeah, it's Norman Bates. That's why it's called the Bates Motel. It's family owned motel.
So I apologize. It does continue in the Freddie Highmore titular character cinematic universe.
Yeah, another line that got me hype. I forget specifically what, but it was like, that's how the Grinch stole Christmas.
It's like him says it. He says it too. He's like, "Yes, I was the Grinch that stole Christmas."
Yeah.
Okay. There's one line I wrote the word that's emphasized weirdly, but I didn't write the line. So I'm gonna try to find if I can find the line.
You know what? Give me the word. Let's see if I know the line.
Well, my note says he really just hit the word girl in that sentence. I want to say the mayor said it.
Oh,
Like,
maybe to Cindy. Yeah.
I was like, "You're really gonna believe this girl?" he had a really fun explosion when he just went out on Cindy Lou and just yelled at her, yelled at this child, the mayor. I think they should have had a coup, a coup, a who coup.
Well, listen, the whole point of having a mayor that's in charge of the town is to have someone to hate. We don't like mayors. They're bad people. Spoilers for this and Cloudy with the Chins of Meatballs.
And Jaws.
Yeah. I did bring that up earlier.
Shout out to James Horner, who did the music for this film. We mentioned him briefly because he also did the music to Titanic.
Oh.
And I don't know if we mentioned him when we did Avatar. He also did music for that.
Damn, he's on. He's got the hits.
He's got the greatest hits. I was a big fan of the score of this movie. Very magical, very, very festive, very storybooky, delightful.
This is a movie where everyone was firing on all cylinders, and that's what made the runtime fine.
And they didn't have to fire that hard.
They didn't.
They did, and it moves at such a great pace.
You know, the way I think this movie is best. It works amazingly as a Christmas movie that you could just throw on every year, and like while you're doing other things, you could be like, "Oh, this sequence, let me watch this."
It's the perfect. Back when we used to do this, throw on the TV. Oh, it's on ABC Family. I love this scene. I'm gonna sit into the commercials. Yeah, it's fun. It's a. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I feel like my fixing segment is going to be all over the place because we'll get into that when we get into it. But what else is there to say about this movie?
It's a great Christmas movie.
Oh yeah, the Christmas lights. Yo, when she pulled out that machine that just automatically shot, I was like, yo.
Talking about thinking it's going dark, when the mom is like pulling the lights and like leaning forward, I thought it was going to reveal like strangling the dad or something, and that's why she's not falling down with the lights. I was like, how are you still hanging on?
Well, I mean, you were hearing him being worried in the background.
Yeah, I was like, oh, no.
Again, this movie's like skirts the edge of being very dark.
Yeah, very fun Christmas movie.
Oh, by the way, with the sedative mallet, I do love how they like continued at that with the monkey.
That's funny. I like when she stops him and he just pulls his head out and then it still goes.
And then it's like implodes because of something.
Side note, would you rank this better or worse than the Simba monkey from Toy Story 3?
Ooh.
Very different purposes.
Yeah. I think this is better.
I think although it has less screen time, it uses it
Yeah.
consistently well. While the other one gives me nightmares. This is a fun one.
And also it's big. I like big things.
Mm. Tom Hanks, Papa.
Okay.
Tom Hanks starred in the movie
Oh,
Big,
right. This one? Or are you
Big,
talking about when? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Oh,
then
that has the scene at FAO Schwartz with the piano, right?
yeah, I've never seen it.
Have you ever played on that piano?
I have not. That always looked fun.
It was. I did it once, like years. Of course, back when FAO Schwartz was a big thing.
Sure, sure.
But yeah, that was fun.
So, very fun film. Go watch it if you wanna.
It's
Christmas
leaving
movie.
Netflix this year.
Oh, so ring out the rear with some Grinchiness and let your heart grow many sizes.
And
Jim Carrey.
remember, just in case you're worried about foul language for your children, this movie does use the word bitchin'.
On that note, to continue that note, I apologize. To continue that, it sounded like I was ending it. To continue that note, this movie continued Toy Story 3 and that it was so much hornier than I thought it'd be.
I think most of it was Martha May, and I just was
Yeah.
not here for it because, like, the second she said that, I was just like, I don't like you. All right.
Well, there's this scene when he's like he comes out and like launches out, and it's like it zooms in on her cleavage as he
And
landed between them. I didn't need that in this movie.
but it's a visual gag, Miss Simpson.
But when you sexualize the Who's, then I think about how Who's must procreate.
You know what? That is another thing I really liked about this movie. The makeup design of this specifically tries to go against the idea of sexualizing these characters. Like, it's fun to look at, but it is not anywhere close to sexy.
Now, although I agree with you, we know some people disagree with that.
I mean, yeah, but like,
And if you are one of them, please comment down below.
leave an email.
Leave an email at the $1 billion movie club at Gmail, Hotmail, yahoo.uk.com, QRS.
You know, maybe one of these days we will have that email and it will be there for you to just hit us with all this random stuff. It's like, I fall into that category that you said doesn't exist and I hate you for it. Unsubscribe.
Wow. I can't believe we're losing subscriptions already. Maybe we should try to get them back. Maybe if we improve the movie, we'll get them back. Puan.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk about how we could change
Puan,
things for betters.
no film is perfect.
Nope.
You know, Citizen Kane, Citizen Can't.
Get it out of here. Listen, you could be number one for your greatest movie of all time.
You didn't even
Don't
win Best Picture that year, Citizen Kane.
It don't mean you're perfect. It
No.
don't mean you're perfect.
No. Don't lie. No. Don't lie.
If you're so good, why aren't you in color?
Yeah. Everything's better in color. Quote from Lizzo. Boom. Pawn, how would you improve this movie? Or do you want me to go first?
You know, I'll go first this time.
Pawn.
So, you brought up earlier the he looks just like your boss moment. I thought, how can we make that make sense in this universe? So, now I'm wondering, how do the children come to these households? Because, like, if it actually looks like the parents, they must order them. So, like, maybe that mother was having a crisis in their marriage, and like she started like making plans with the with her boss, who's like, you know what, I'll save you from it, and like they ordered it, and then around the same time, things were starting to get better with her husband, so they also order a child. I don't know what you're pulling up. So I'd like to imagine that the one that the boss and the wife ordered showed up there, and then the one that they ordered showed up at the boss's house.
So there was a mix-up.
Yes. Yes.
So she ordered 2 babies, and there was a mix-up, and they got the wrong delivery.
Yes.
That's what. Okay. And they show this in the movie?
Yes.
Can you describe the scene to me a little more?
Just like when they right after they do that scene with that family, it like
Cuts to
hard cuts to like another dude that's like, wait, why does this look like my secretary or like this thing's husband? Why does this look like my employee's husband? So that's one. That's one.
Okay.
So the beginning and end of this movie established that this whole film takes place on a snowflake.
Yes.
The town of Whoville, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
takes place on a snowflake. Now I'm starting to imagine that this snowflake contains just this town and like the surrounding mountains. There's nothing else.
Mhm.
But what if there's other snowflakes with other towns? So the way I picture it is like throughout this entire film, the snowflake is falling to the ground. And like right at the end of the movie, there's like, instead of getting darker in the distance, it gets brighter. And like, what's that over there? And then it's like they go on an expedition.
Who's they?
Huh?
Who's they? Who's going on this expedition?
The Grinch,
Oh, so they're
Martha May.
so the snowflake lands on the ground,
Yes.
and
And then
within
it
the
becomes,
snowflake.
and then because it joins in with the rest of the snow around it,
Whoa.
the world expands exponentially.
Okay.
I'm talking sequels. I'm talking franchising.
Okay.
I'm talking TV shows.
Where can they run into?
So one thing that I was confused about in terms of this book,
Okay.
because I don't think I had this book, but the Who's.
Yes.
You know what else has Who's?
Every other Dr. Seuss thing?
When Horton hears them.
Yes.
So I was wondering, are these two series connected? Are these two books connected?
May I say, as someone who forgot how the movie opened, when they pulled out from the snowflake, at first I thought it was going to be a speck like Horton Hears a Who.
I have nothing else to go on for that aspect of it, but like maybe
So you
there's
want,
a
you
connection.
want to
there.
build the Dr. Seuss cinematic universe.
Yes. Better urban planning. Come on, put some roads on there. Put some roads.
Is that the production design team?
Yeah.
Is that their fault? Okay.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, but like if I'm being nitpicky, yes.
You know, a film this great, there's few things you can change, and so you guys start nitpicking.
So I brought up how Martha May fetishizes the Grinch's greenness.
Yes.
And then I see the final scene where they end up together, and it's like, she doesn't love you, man.
Right. You're right.
She only likes your greenness. And like you're being reduced down to what makes you different.
Mhm.
What I'd like to see in that scene is the Grinch realizing, I don't need you, Martha May Lou. I'm my own person. Yes, I may be green, but I'm many other things.
Whoa.
And
And
you know
then?
what? And maybe one day I'll be able to. I'm not ready yet for love, but maybe one day I will be. And you know what? Unless you grow up, you won't be that person.
Wow. So many lessons.
Let's see. Remove the bitchin' line. No.
Obviously.
No profanity in my children's Dr. Seuss Christmas movie.
In the other Dr. Seuss movies, yes, but the Christmas ones, no. Horton can hear a who. That's all I
If
got.
it's a Dr. Seuss non-children's movie, go for it.
Mhm. Horton hears a who. Horton's not a child. Steve Carell's not a child.
I, now I'm imagining like a gritty Dr. Seuss style show that's like, you know how there's like The Wolf Among Us and stuff like that. That's like
Yeah.
fairy tales, but like dark and gritty.
Yeah.
Now I'm imagining like the Dr. Seuss dark and gritty universe.
I will say, I forgot about this till right now.
Mm-hmm.
Horton Hears a Who came out in 2009, I believe. So I would have been 12. Oh my god. I was kind of scared by the vulture men in Horton Hears a Who.
I didn't see that movie. I don't think I've seen any of the Dr. Seuss movies in theaters. I think this might have been my first one.
That you've seen, period?
I think so, yeah.
I think I've seen them all except for the newest Grinch now. Oh, Lorax. I didn't see the Lorax.
You're telling me you didn't see T Swizzle's great voice acting performance?
I will say now that I'm getting into the Tay-Tays, I'm going to have to one of these days.
Or the phenomenon known as the one slur, which spawned an entire genre of fan fiction in which the one slur was shipped with himself.
I was going to go on some bit about hating Danny DeVito and questioning why, but what?
That is a thing where like it's so ridiculous, but like so there's the one slur is a character in the movie which like over the course he's practically two different people.
Okay.
So there's like a lot of fan fiction shipping the two different versions of the one slur. Or like having other personalities of the one slur and just like shipping.
As someone who's read the book, I'm so confused. Okay. How else would you fix the Grinch plot?
I'm trying to think. I think I'm good. I think I created some solid additions that will boost the film to new heights.
Wow. So to recap, just do a quick recap.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you want me to do it? Okay. The babies show the boss's baby, and I'm not talking Alec Baldwin. Have the Grinch realize he's more than just his greenness and does not need to be with Martha May.
Mm-hmm.
Take out the bitchin'. Just excise that from your script.
Fair point. Fair point.
Oh right, one thing that so like the sedative mallet. There is the one step above it with like the monkey symbols. We need a part 3. We need a subversion.
A rule of threes, obviously, yes.
Improve the urban development. Whoville needs to be better structured and developed as a town. The mayor's slacking.
Fair point. Mm-hmm.
I think that was it. Oh wait. No. The snowflake meeting all the other villages and stuff because it's one with the earth.
I see.
There we go. On to you, Miss
notes.
Simpson.
I love all these notes. You sound like a studio exec handing Ron Howard the notes.
How would you fix this movie, Christmas?
Right. Now, great masterpiece of a Christmas film, this film. Yes.
You would be able to tell as Christmas himself.
Obviously. I thought, how do you improve one masterpiece? Maybe fuse it with another masterpiece?
Whoa, you've never done that before.
A masterpiece that I have hanging up in my room somewhere as merchandise?
Hamilton.
So there's a scene in the film when he's getting his award. And then they were like, no, first off, you get a gift. And the gift is an electric razor.
Oh, right. That was a very sad moment.
Grinch gets very sad. Oh,
I honestly felt that when I was watching that. I felt that moment.
We didn't mention, I felt a feel in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that scene, but there was a scene where I felt a feel.
No, but like that one hurted me.
It hurted very much. And so the Grinch looks at his razor, and all the memories of his childhood are flashing back. All the laughter that he tried to hide under the bag, all the kids laughing, his teacher laughing, that bitch laughing at him. Right.
Oh, you could use it, but not the script. Is that what
Well,
we're
it's
going
not
at?
being said in the script. These are all the images that are from the flashbacks. They're flashbacks, right?
Okay, as long as that word is nowhere
It's
in the
it's
script.
so it's gonna be a shot of his upper half from chest up, and he's looking at the razor in his hand lifted, and in his head you can see the flashbacks on the head flashing. So it's like
So it's
kinda
like a
put
screen
on.
on his head.
Yes, yes. And as that happens, the camera tilts down toward his chest, and then the magnifying glass thingy comes over his heart, into his heart. It's shriveling up even more, smaller and
Oh,
smaller
so like
and
it's almost to the
smaller.
point where it's like breaking into pieces and like about to crumple down. Is
Well,
that what we're talking?
it's more like a black hole
Oh,
that
like
swallows
it's
itself
losing
up.
all the water.
Yes, and then it's gone. And then the Grinch looks at the razor.
Wait, how's he living without a heart?
Shush. The Grinch looks at the razor. He looks at Mary Lou. No, what's the Martha? He
Martha
looks at
May.
Martha May, and then he looks at Mary Lou. Back down at the razor. He's thinking. He's wondering. Looks at Martha May again, and then he hears the laughter of the mayor. He looks at the mayor, and then he stabs the mayor in the heart with a razor.
Seems a bit violent.
There's blood all over his hands. He doesn't know what he just did. He's looking around as confusion, madness going on.
Oh,
He
I
looks at his
see.
hands and he runs off. And you know
Why
that
that one?
tunnel? You know that tunnel where Mary Lou almost fell down? He goes into the tunnel and hides with all the presents for the rest of his life.
Why would you make a Christmas movie so violent?
Because there was a moment when I thought he had the
Wait,
impetus
I just
to
remembered a
stab
Christmas
the
movie
mayor.
that did go that violent that I do plan on watching soon.
So yes, this is the new ending. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
It ends a lot earlier.
Inspired by this. If you haven't seen this, I don't
He's
want to
pointing at
spoil
a
it.
poster of Parasite.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it. So you spoiled it because you mentioned the movie.
Yeah, but like the listeners don't know what you're pointing at. And most of our people are just listening, Miss
So
Henson.
yes, inspired by Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. This is the new ending to Dr. Seuss How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
You know, while you were saying that, I was like, what Christmas movie would be so violent? But then I remembered the one
Die Hard?
We'll get back to that. I was talking about movies that are actually Christmas. Not just like, oh, hey, it's around Christmas. Like, yeah, that I know that's the film bro thing to say that Die Hard is a Christmas movie so that they can enjoy.
Well, first off, what movie were you thinking of? And then we'll get to this.
The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya.
What the heck did you just say?
It's the movie that was a continuation of the anime, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya.
Okay.
So it involves a lot of time travel and jumping through dimensions. And at one point, one of the characters stabs someone with a pair of scissors. And like there's blood all over the floor.
Okay. Now,
And that is a Christmas movie because the inciting incident involves a Christmas party. And like it's bookended with an actual Christmas party. Like it's Christmas.
okay. Now, I didn't know we were getting into this discussion, but now we must. You just explained why that movie is a Christmas movie. And you're telling me Die Hard is not a Christmas movie?
Yes.
Have you seen Die Hard?
They talk about it on the radio.
No.
Okay.
Die Hard, he goes to his ex-wife's Christmas party to pick her up to bring to for something, and then that's when Alan
For
Rickman comes.
something.
I forget it. Alan Rickman comes and shuts down the party, and Bruce Willis has to save her from the Christmas party. Now, it's also about him. He wants to reconnect with his wife and prove that he can be a good father and take care of them and whatnot. It's about family. It's about him connecting with Carl Winslow, who's the policeman who comes to try to figure out stuff. He's connecting with Argyle, the dude who drove him there. Him connecting with strangers. It's about love. Die Hard's a Christmas movie all the way.
Okay, fine. I mean, I could bring up themes about the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya.
I'm not saying
well.
that's not a Christmas movie. I'm sure it is. I'm sure you're right. Die Hard's a Christmas movie as well.
It is interesting though with that movie, seeing how long it actually is.
How long is it?
I think it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like that.
Crap.
And it like that's rare for anime for like movies based off of anime TV shows. Usually they like top out at 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So like they were going full hog with that one and had full faith in it. But I digress. We're not talking about that.
So we had some fun additions, some exchanges, some changes. That's the word I was looking for. So please leave a comment on who
some
you'd
fun
rather
changes
watch.
and some fun exchanges.
Whoa, like a gift you'd exchange.
Whoa! You know what? Here you go, Miss Simpson. Here's
Here
a
you
gift.
go, Juan. Here. Take the hat.
All right. I grabbed yours. You grabbed mine.
I grabbed
There
it.
we go.
There we go.
Oh, hey. It turns out to be the one I already had. How did that work out?
Well, are you wearing the same hat? That's incredible. That's a prop play. Fun fact.
Much
we
like
play with props.
you know, inspired by How the Grinch Stole Christmas starring
Jim Carrey? Is that
There you go.
So, Juan, at this point in our podcast, we typically rank the films that make $1 billion based off science.
But sadly, this film hasn't made $1 billion, so I'm not sure what we have in store.
I have a thought.
Mhm.
I would like to rank it, and whatever based off science, as always.
Of course.
Whatever rank it gets, it shares with whatever movie is at that number.
Okay, so we should like put an asterisk next to it.
No,
or
it's
something.
a tie. There's a tie.
Okay. Sure.
Now, I would give us both a choice. One movie that's currently on the list, it cannot tie with.
Hmm.
I'm gonna pull up the list. So, I didn't have it open this time. Oh, I'm messing this up.
I'll say let's not have it tie with Alice in Wonderland.
Well, I was gonna say let's not have it tie with Pirates on Stranger Tides, because I think those two films are so uniquely, singularly terrible that they are.
Those are next to each other, aren't they?
Well, let's pull up the list and just do a little recap, shall we? Line up the list now. Let me know if you see it.
I'm not seeing the list. There it is.
All right, let's start at the very bottom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Let's start
there
at
it
the very
is.
bottom. All right, at number 47, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. At number 46, Alice in Wonderland. 45, Toy Story 3. 44, Avatar. 41, Transformers: Dark of the Moon. 37, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. 32, The Dark Knight. 27, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. 19, Titanic. And number 3, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. So I think as those two are the bottom two, we'll do min 1, max 45. Whatever number it is, it's tied at that number.
Okay. So it looks like he's typing in random number generator, but really what it is scientific calculation device.
Yes, it very much is so. So tell me what to press it.
Okay, so let's calculate some science right now. Let's do it.
21. Do we already have a 21?
I don't think so.
No. So,
This is taking up the second spot of an area we don't have a first spot taken up by.
how do you spell Seuss?
I-
Suess?
Yeah, that looks right.
How the Grinch stole. Amazingly, I don't know if this is the longest title we have on this list.
I
Must
think
be
it's
one of.
it
Lord
might
of the
be.
Rings.
Yeah, you abbreviated that one.
I did. I'll fix that later. So, to recap the list, at number 47,
At number 47, we got Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. On 46, we got Alice in Wonderland. At 45, we got Toy Story 3. At 44, we got Avatar. At number 41, we got Transformers Dark of the Moon. You'll see it eventually. At number 37, we have Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest. At number 32, we got The Dark Knight. At number 27, we got Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. At number 21, tied for second place, we have Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
So to reiterate, tied at number 21, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas and To Be Determined.
Yes. At number 19, we got Titanic. At number 3, we got LOTR, Return of the King.
And reading that list, we got Pawan's Irish accent. Pawan, that was fun.
This was a fun
A
episode.
fun wrinkle.
I'm glad we decided to break up the very well structured. I don't know where I was going with that sentence.
You know,
it's not structured.
There's a lot of monotony to watching all the action sequences, whether it's Lord of the Rings.
Because
Harry
we haven't
Potter.
gotten to the children's movies yet. We haven't
gotten to the children's movies. You know, Alice in Wonderland, Toy Story 3.
Well, I was talking more like Despicable Me, Minions. Oops. Did I spoil? Oh no.
So I hope you enjoyed this special holiday episode of the $1 Billion Movie Club. Let us know if you liked the little weekly not weekly.
Digression that we did.
Yeah, just the occasional outlier.
Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we could do it seasonally.
Seasonally, holiday wise, we'll find out. We'll figure it out. So thank you again, Juan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christmas.
Thank you for joining in this discussion of the Academy Award-winning film Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Shout outs to Jim Carrey and Ron Howard.
And the entire team behind this movie.
Except for the man who played the mayor.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Max Lasmacchio, who did the art that you will be seeing or have seen. Or know in your heart if you know the art very well.
Listen, if you've stumbled upon this podcast anywhere, you must have seen that art. And you know it's quality, all right?
Quality.
You know it's quality.
Quality.
So
if
you feel like, you know, looking at his other stuff, tell him we sent you.
Say, hey, Max, Christmas. And he'll know. He will know. So thank you again for joining us. Hope to see you next week for our episode on Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Currently streaming on...
It's going to be fun.
Disney Plus streaming platforms.
Part of the Star Wars channel that they're creating.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a franchise anymore. It's basically a channel.
Thank you for joining us. Hope to see you next week. Bye-bye. Bye. You're an idiot!
So again, your two options are Right Where We Are or Hopeless Place.
And there's no third option?
I mean, it's just one of those is Rihanna, one of those is Ed Sheeran.
Can I phone a friend?
No,
Damn.
this is the final question.
Oh fuck.
You can't look it up. No, no, no.
Fuck. Maybe the answers, please.
Okay, so we found love in blank.
Mm-hmm.
A hopeless place.
Okay.
B, right where we are. Which one is Rihanna?
Rihanna starts with R. Right where we are starts with R. Leaning toward B. I'll be honest.
Are you locking in that answer?
No, I'm not locking in yet. Hold on. This is the original Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where there's no time limit, right?
Sure.
Hmm. I'm going with D, Regis. Final answer.
B,
D.
right where we are.
D. Elephant. Final answer.
So D, that's like it circles back to B because A and B, then C and D is equivalent to A and B. So you just pick B and you're locking that in.
No.
Every two letters, it circles back to A and B.
Now, question: do I still get to spin the wheel no matter what?
Yeah, but it's worth a lot less if you get this wrong.
And are we talking vertical wheel or horizontal wheel?
Uh, we're talking diagonal wheel.
Diagonal wheel, so half
Yeah,
Price is Right, half Wheel of Fortune. Fast.
yeah.
I'm going with the A, Regis. Final answer.